Thierry, what are the greatest moments for you in your career, the greatest successes? I mean, I was actually at Highbury that day that you've flicked the ball up and turned and volleyed it in the top corner, and I was like, oh my God, what a goal that is. But I mean, there's lots of individual things, but what stands out for you looking back?
It's a lot of things that comes in my head at the beginning. Like I always said, my favorite goal is the Leeds goal. And people will say, what? First round of the cup, Leeds are in the championship. What? Oh, I mean, but it's the first time I scored a goal for my club as a fan. And I never experienced what Alan went through in ever. You did it so many times in your career. We all know that. But it's the first time also I let myself go on the goal. I mean, you see I was virtually on the verge of crying when I arrived
Just for those listeners that are perhaps not aware, this would be when you returned to Arsenal and scored the goal.
Yes, when I returned to Arsenal. And it has nothing to do with anything. Look, I was coming back from my holidays, but there was a level of expectation of they wanted to see me again. I wanted to see them again. And everybody went to the stadium for that. I'm not trying to be bigoted, but everybody went to the stadium for that. People even watched the game for that. And for the first time, I felt like I was with the fans. Like, you know, sometimes they were celebrating, I'm celebrating, but I was thinking about, like, for the first time in my life, I let myself go. And I know you will say, only that moment? But it really went through me like a fan.
You ran to Wenger, didn't you? I remember.
Yeah, I went to Wenger. I was, at that moment, I will be honest, like, if I could stop, I would have cried there. Like, I couldn't. And then after, obviously, me bullshitting, I went, oh, yeah. But in that run, I was like, oh. You can see I run, and then I looked in the air, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is that what it feels when you score for your club? Oh, I did it for the national team, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, you know, like I said to you, like if I go now, if you ask me that question, I go to the competitor, winning the World Cup, you know, beating Righty. But I understood emotion late. I understood that part of the game, of my game late because of the reason that I mentioned before. Because for me, it was like, Thierry, they want you to perform on Tuesday. Thierry, they want you to perform on Wednesday. I was like, okay, we finish a game against, I don't know, Blackburn at home. I'm like, okay, I need to be ready for Villarreal in the Champions League. I wasn't enjoying anything. You know, I was happy. I was never satisfied, but I was never enjoying my thing. I was like, oh, you scored. I said, yeah, I scored. Yeah. But I need to, I was always on to the next one. And the first time I was enjoying every moment when I came back to Arsenal, because I came back as a fan, you know, even wearing the tracksuit. That night I left the stadium. It was like 2 a.m. I stayed in the dressing room with my socks, my boots, my shin pads, the shirt and my short, and I sat there. My brother came down from the box, and at one point, Costas, the guy that was just Thierry, we would like to go home. I sat there, Alan, for I don't know at what time was the game. Maybe it was like 7:45 or something like that. It was 1:45. I was still in the dressing room.
Wow.
I didn't want to move. For one day, I lived the dream of a fan.
Brilliant.
Scoring for his club.
Yeah.
I never took the opportunity to do that before. Like, to really embrace it.
Song. Henri, chance, goal! He may be cast in bronze, but he's still capable of producing truly golden moments.
Well, you've got to say it just had to be in the script the way the game was going for Arsenal fans, and they're delirious. There's your